Welcome in, y'all. Timeshare Clarence. First and foremost, again, I want to thank God for waking me up this morning, bless me with another day, another opportunity to work towards becoming the man I desire to be. Today, I really want to get back to the Who is Clarence series, and a big part of that is looking at what I want out of life, and I'm gonna go back and reflect on how I got to the point that I'm at, to where I have the desires and beliefs that I hold now. But I do want to start with where I'm currently at, and I think probably the biggest thing missing in my life is a wife. I got kids. I love my kids, and but having kids and having a family is two different things. And a big part of me wanting a wife is I can't really see my life being as fulfilling as I want it to be with me not having somebody to share it with and experience things with and provide these experiences for that I want to have. So what does that look like for me? Like, what's the desire? Because I've been single for years, and I've gone out and talked to a lot of different women, and every time I do, then I reflect on why it didn't go anywhere. And it's not always just simply pointing fingers, even though I feel like on both sides a lot of the sentiment is from women that men are act like they're entitled to women's bodies because they paying for stuff, and from men that it's a bunch of gold diggers out here that's basically just trying to get over. So specifically living in Vegas, I feel like obviously that's a certain culture that's pretty unique, and like different places is going to be different type of vibe. But because I live in Vegas, I do see and hear a lot of kind of this for lack of a better term, gold digger culture and tricking culture and whatever else, and like that's not me. I'm not finna pay nobody for their time, or I'm not finna pay somebody to get to know me. If somebody want to get to know me, then I need to feel and believe that is the potential to develop into a serious relationship with the potential to lead to marriage, or I'm not really interested. Because at this point in my life, I've done the military, been married and divorced twice. I got 2 sets of kids, been through a lot of stuff, reflected a lot about my mistakes and where I'm at and what I don't want to do again, what I don't want to experience again. So what do I want out of a wife is really, it's not a lot. It means a lot, but like I don't really expect a lot. I just want somebody really to be there to make it easier for me to do the heavy lifting. And I think most of the men that I've talked to have, and I'm not speaking for saying that that's the majority of the men, I'm just saying the men that I deal with, because people tend to move in similar circles with people who think the same way. Most of the men that I deal with have expressed in conversations that they want the same thing. And I don't know that a lot of women actually realize it's not really like sex is always going to be a thing that men desire, but it's not necessarily what we desire the most. And especially with me, the other things are way more important than sex. Sex is just basically a given in a romantic relationship. Like, I can hang out with anybody, that's not a romantic relationship. For somebody to be my woman, for somebody to be my wife, that's a romantic relationship. And sex is just a part of it, but it's not the goal, right? The goal is to have the support, have somebody that when I come home, I feel like I can unburden myself. Not for her to provide peace, right? But for her to facilitate an environment to sustain peace. Because I have peace on my own. So you don't want, as a man, you don't want somebody to come into the situation and disrupt your peace. And a lot of times, trying to date, it's very apparent very early on that it's not worth getting to know a lot of women, because that's not something that they understand. It's not something that they value or prioritize, and most men do. So I wanted to talk about that, just for people to understand me. Like, I don't need a woman to provide peace, but like I said, I do need her to be able to sustain it, and maybe contribute to the elevation of quality of life in a situation that I put a lot of work into creating, structure, order, peace, fulfillment, and an environment for me to thrive. It can only be enhanced by the right woman, but the wrong woman can disrupt that and make it 1,000 times worse, or even destroy it. And I've heard the term a lot, I can do bad by myself. And I thought about that a lot, like, nah, like I really can't. If I'm by myself, I'm not really doing bad. Now, and I mean from a spiritual level, you know, yeah, we all have our struggles in life, but when I'm by myself, I'm not frustrated with, you know, coming home and watching TV or whatever. I might be bored. I might have a sense of is something missing, but it's not disruptive. It's not this conflict. So for a woman to introduce that, it's not appealing at all. And it's not a shot at any individual, but I heard something, like I went out with one woman and she asked me how many people I've been out with. I couldn't tell you how many people, but I haven't been out with the same person multiple times, because that's the point of dating, is to try to get to know somebody. And when you first meet somebody, if they show you who you are and you know that's not what you're interested in, then I feel like that is really, you went on a date, but that's not dating. Like, I feel like if I was to say that I'm dating a person, that means that I'm consistently going out with the same person. I'm trying to get to know them. We both expressed interest and agreed that we are going to pursue getting to know each other with that goal of progressing toward having exclusive romantic relationship, if things continue to progress in a way that we both feel like we get to the point where we can commit to that. But you have to see something that's worth pursuing that. So in my experience, a lot of women, specifically in Vegas, because that's where I live, so I can't talk about nowhere else, or at least the women I've talked to, which primarily has been off of dating apps, and I've tried different dating apps, and it's not to say some of them not cool or whatever else, because some of them are cool, but they're still not somebody I would want to pursue a relationship with, because the vast majority of the women that I meet or come across and even work with are living and moving and approaching the world in masculine energy, and it's nothing appealing about that. I don't want my woman talking to me like my homeboy. And that's not to say I don't want to be able to talk to my woman about anything, or I don't want her to be able to talk to me about anything. but I don't want to feel like I'm talking to a man or a man is talking to me. And a lot of women are in their masculine energy. So that's the dynamic that up until this point keeps me single, because I know I want a wife. I know I want a partner. And I know that I don't even really expect that much of her. And with my standards being what I consider low, if you can't even meet that as an example, to be able to maintain a simple conversation. And when I say a simple conversation, two people should be able to express their opinion on any given subject and disagree, and ask questions and communicate to get an understanding of what each other mean, whether they agree or not, without being disrespectful, without calling each other out of their names, without insulting each other, without hurling accusations or speculating about whatever. So I'll give some examples of things that have happened in my experience that immediately made me like, nah, I'm cool. So like one thing, I notice a lot of women get triggered when you ask certain questions. Okay. Now, I asked a woman if she ever had been to counseling, and I mean, she flipped out about how she don't need counseling, and like counseling is negative. Again, just based off that, it's not something I'm interested in. Is the question circulating now on social media and a lot of conversations, especially in my community, is this whole, what do you bring to the table? And a lot of women get frustrated by that. But this is my question, and then in turn my perspective based off that dynamic. The reason that it's a question is because that's we need to see, and when I say we, I mean men, because it's pretty much universally accepted what a man is supposed to be able to do for a woman to provide value in her life, right? Provide, protect, a certain quality of life. So a man coming into a woman's life it's like, okay, he should be able to provide her with things beyond what she can provide herself with, provide her with experiences beyond what she's doing on her own, help her financially, and to, at some point, in most cases, it's actually the desire for most women for men to completely provide for them. So if a man is providing for a woman, it's clear what he's bringing to the table. If a man paying your rent, paying your bills, taking you out, buying you clothes, buying you gifts, whatever, like, it's clear what you're getting. But then on the flip side of that, especially when it's the whole, a man is not entitled to, which I agree with, a man is not entitled to a woman's body because he took her out to dinner, but he's still paying for that. You still getting a meal. He's still paying if he take you out to the movies or putt golf or take you on a vacation or whatever. He's providing you with something tangible. And what are you providing him with? Your presence. Well, so that's devaluing his presence. And it's not to take a shot, but the vast majority of the time, most of the conversations and most of the interaction, as far as if we're just talking about the value of interacting with somebody, I get a lot more value out of interactions and conversations with men than women. It's not a lot of women that are providing, and I'm not saying that they can't, I'm just saying this is what I've experienced. The feedback, the interaction, whatever, it's it's not as enjoyable. It's a lot of complaining. It's a lot of I don't want to say begging, but it's a lot of indirect statements. Sometimes it's direct, but it's basically a lot of women just talking about what a man needs to do for them. And I mean, that's not fun. Just sitting around listening to somebody talk about, what somebody else is supposed to do for them. If I'm with my friends, we talk about business, we talk about investing, we talk about our goals and all these things. Most of the time, those are not conversations that women are trying to have on the same level. So again, it typically reverts back to what can a man do for her financially specifically, and then also that they don't want a man to feel like that they entitled to sex. So just from the standpoint of enjoyment, like what's fun about sitting around with somebody complaining, telling you what they need and what you're not gonna get, or what men shouldn't feel like they should get. Right? That ain't fun. Or complaining about the stuff that you like. I like watching stand-up comedy. I watch comedy with my brothers. I watch comedy with male friends, and we don't like all of the same type of stand-up, but it's enjoyable. I've tried to do some of those things, and again, that don't even always have to be a romantic situation. Even just going out with women, and it's just complaint after complaint after complaint, and it's just like, again, it's just not fun. So if the primary value that you provide is basically sex, and that's not what we want to focus on, that's where the question is going to come from. Okay, so if sex is not the thing that a man is getting out of this situation, what is the other benefit? It's not an insult, it's not whatever. It's really like, okay, are we gonna have fun? Are we going bowling? Like, are you gonna give me some investment advice? Are you gonna give me, or are you gonna be a shoulder to cry on? Are you gonna be somebody that's a safe space? Because I do feel like in the past few years, some of my male friends have been a safe space. I can go talk to them about how I feel about anything. I can, without judgment, without criticism, without any of that. But like, that's not common to be able to go talk to a woman without her immediately speculating about how whatever you're talking about is more than likely your fault, or playing devil's advocate. Especially if you're talking about another woman, like the vast majority of the women, the second a woman comes up or issues with women come up, then they're trying to find a way to place the blame on the man. So yeah, like, I don't want to rant about the whole what you bring to the table thing, but it's a valid question. And if you can't answer it, then like, it's probably because you don't bring anything to the table other than sex. And if that's all you bring to the table, that really has no value, especially in the context of relationship, because a relationship is not going to be sustained based off the sex. So with that being said, looking for a wife is not looking for somebody to just pass time with or have sex with, but to be a safe space, to be somebody that's going to offer good counsel, be supportive, guidance, whatever. Ideally, for me, I wouldn't want my wife to work. Now, in order for her not to work, that means I need to be in a position to be able to provide not only basic necessities, but also those things that contribute to a higher quality of life. If I'm willing to do that and I'm able to do that, then if she wants to work, I'm not going to fight with her about it. But even if she's working and she's making money and I'm taking care of her, money doesn't benefit me. So I don't want to hear about her working as an excuse not to do the things that do benefit me. So that's what I was thinking about. So ideally, yeah, I want my wife to cook. Yeah, I want my wife to cook. But these are all things that a woman should be doing anyway. Like, not just women, I do it. Like, I cook and clean because I'm in a situation where I need to cook and clean because I don't have somebody to do it for me. So is that not a fair exchange? So, right, like if a woman came in my life, and I've been in this position because in my marriage, when I got back with my kid's mom, she had a house. It was her house. She was paying for it. So at the rate that I moved into her house and I don't have rent, that is a benefit to me because I'm not paying rent. But I'm gonna pick up the slack in other places so she don't have to pay for a lot of other stuff. Again, I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, I'm doing laundry, all the things that we identify with a women do. I was a stay-at-home dad. You know, I was a house husband. So to me, it's not a sexist thing. It's in a situation you have to provide some value. And if I'm the person paying for everything, then that's the value that I'm providing. That doesn't mean I don't have to do anything else, but that's not debatable. If somebody comes in your life, because without this man, you paying all your rent and bills. If he take anything off of your plate, that's a benefit. So shouldn't you take something off his plate? And if you're not taking something off his plate, then shouldn't you be contributing something to enhance his quality of life? And if that's not sex, what is it? Is it conversation? Is it massage? Is it, because again, those things have value. Quality time has value. But if the time that you're spending with someone is not necessarily quality time, it's all, whatever time you're spending is always to do something for the other person and to benefit the other person. Why should I feel fulfilled about taking care of something for you if it's not something that provides any value to me? And this ain't a like bag on women thing. Is I want to be clear about my position. I don't think anything has more value than a good wife. Nothing. I think the thing I want more than anything is a good wife, but it's not to just benefit me. It's because I feel like the level I contribute and I'm willing to contribute, the sacrifices that I make, everything else, it's only fair that I get the equivalent investment in return from the person that I'm with. So I'm not a 50-50 man. Neither one of, like, both of my wives were stay-at-home wives when we were married. Now, did at some point, out of necessity, they go to work? Yeah, but neither one of them ever worried about paying rent. Neither one of them ever worried about paying bills. Now, did they might have to buy some groceries or something like that? Yeah, maybe. Sometimes. But the basic things I did provide. And then when I wasn't the person providing somewhere for the family to stay, I was the person cooking, cleaning, and I was still contributing a lot financially. I was still improving the quality of life in a situation, renovating the house, doing yard work, building gazebos, and doing all of these different things. So yes, like, both people should benefit from any relationship. It should be mutually beneficial, even if it's not a romantic relationship. My friendships are mutually beneficial. My friends do stuff for me. I do stuff for my friends. I provide value for them. They provide value for me. So for a woman to come in my life and have more value than that, she has to provide more value than that. I should be able to go to her first. I should be able to rely on her as much as she rely on me. If anybody, man or woman, if you get in a situation where one day all of your financial responsibility goes away, how much stress does that remove from your life when you don't have to worry about paying rent, you don't have to worry about paying bills, you don't have to worry about any of that? Don't even have to worry about putting gas in your car. If I was in that situation, I would be extremely grateful. So when I'm providing those things and somebody's not grateful, yeah, I'm gonna feel some kind of way about that. Especially when what I'm asking in return is to have something to eat when I come home from work, or for it not to be a sink full of dishes or whatever the case is. So it goes hand in hand with something I recorded the other day. I don't really have high standards. It's just the standards I have, I'm not gonna compromise. So for somebody to be in my life, I don't expect them to provide as much value to me as I provide to them. I don't. I honestly, not to be dismissive of what they provide, but my intent is to provide so much that it's impossible for them to match what I provide, because that's my desire as a man. But what I do want them to do is to make me feel like it's worth it. That's really what I want. And what I've heard most men really want is for a woman to make them feel like whatever they are investing, whatever they are sacrificing, whatever they are contributing to the relationship and to her life to make it better is worth it. That they're not doing it for nothing, or that they're not investing an extraordinary amount of time, energy, effort, money, resources, and everything else for somebody that's barely willing to lift a finger for them. And that really is what I see out here right now. And that's why I'm single. And I'm not chasing women. I'm not a player. I don't have no desire to have 3-4 women. None of that. But it's so hard to actually get the bare minimum of what I consider worth it, which is consistent, effective communication. And what I mean by that is, like, just let me know what's going on. If it's something that you don't like, tell me, let's have a discussion. If it's something you do like, if it's something you need, whatever, like, and then also listen to, accept, and process the feedback that I give, make the adjustments, whatever, because I'm gonna do that. So that's both of us doing something. So the vast majority of the things that I would expect from a woman, I'm also doing, and I'm also willing to do. So, but I do feel like it's some shit I shouldn't have to worry about, and that's only fair. So for me, and what I personally believe, and what I personally have the desire to do, is be that provider. And I hear that's what most women want, but it gotta be worth it. Like, I ain't signing up to just take care of somebody. I already got kids. Like, my kids, those the people I'm taking care of with no expectation. I'm not taking care of a grown woman with no expectation. If I'm taking care of her, there is expectation for her to take care of me. Now, not in the same way, but in the way that I need to be taken care of. So to understand me, as for, like, that's really what it is. I want, I want somebody to make the house a home. I want somebody to lighten the load, and appreciate me doing all the things that I do for her, and express that, and make each other life easier. I will do everything in my power to make her life as easy as possible, and in return, I don't expect her to make mine hard. So I guess for right now, that's enough. I don't think I need to do a list of what I expect from a woman, but I do want to establish that I do want a wife. But by me wanting a wife, my primary focus is on being able to be a good husband, being able to put her in a position where she trusts my decision making, where she feels safe, where she feels comfortable, where she knows things are gonna be okay because I'm gonna take care of it. But for her to have that certainty, for her to have that peace of mind, I feel like it's only fair in return for her to provide that same certainty or peace of mind just in other areas. So if I provide that financially, then like she should provide it in a way that a woman should provide it. I shouldn't have to go pay $200 for a massage, and my wife can give me a massage. You know, my back hurt is on different videos. I don't know how many times I've commented on it. It's hurting right now. It would be a tremendous value for me to have a wife to say, baby, lay down and rub my back. That's fair. You know, to bring me a plate or bring me something to drink, to make sure that I got clothes ready for work or anything else if I'm doing whatever I'm supposed to be doing. So I don't have unrealistic expectations. I don't have unreasonable expectations. But I think in my experience, the women I've dealt with, and it could be that I've just dealt with the wrong women. But the cool part is, it only take one. And the one who actually realized like this ain't even a fair exchange. This is amazing opportunity. Like, this man willing to do all of this stuff, and all he want is these few little things for him not to have to worry about. I don't want to have to worry about what I'm eating for dinner. I don't want to have to worry about, you know, my clothes being ironed for work. I want to get up, go do my workout, come home, get ready for work and go to work and make some money. But when I gotta worry about everything, it's not necessarily overwhelming, but it would be appreciated for somebody to take something off my plate. And, you know, I'm willing to take 80% of the stuff off of her plate for her to take 20% of the stuff off my plate. I think that's more than fair. But what most women want is for you to take 100% of the stuff off their plate, and they take nothing off your plate. And that's ridiculous, it's unreasonable. So to, I guess, sum up my position, Clarence is simply looking for somebody that is reasonable. Everything that I ask and every expectation that I would have, I feel like it's very reasonable. And the only things that I have a problem with is somebody expecting me to do stuff that's unreasonable. So, still single, haven't found that person, but when I find that person, it's a wrap, because on my own, I'll put myself in a position to have a very flexible lifestyle and have freedom. I'm not completely where I want to be, but I'm a lot closer than most people. I got a good job. I got the financial stability to make sure that no matter what, you know, my bills pay, which is more than most people can say. So now it's just building quality of life and enhancing that. And for somebody else to come into that has not contributed to that has not sacrificed for that, but they're gonna benefit from that, then I mean, for them to make sure the house straight, I don't really think that's that much. Because my lifestyle as a single man, I work when I want to, I can travel when I want to, I can go see my family all around the country, I can, you know, do international, I can do whatever I want to, but I want somebody to do it with. And just that alone, me adding a person, I'll take a trip every month. I hear a lot of women talking about how they want to travel. Now, some of that is to go see family, right? But I am in a position, because I work for Hilton, because I have my disability, because I make what I make, where we could take, even if it's a weekend, we could take a trip literally every month. We could do multiple big vacations every year. Probably, I would say we could do a major vacation quarterly. That's not something most women can do, at least not without I go to comedy clubs. We can go to shows, concerts, sporting. Now I enjoy that. I don't know that a lot of women enjoy sporting events, but I'm just saying with my lifestyle, it's not boring. It's a lot of variety. It's a lot of enjoyment for me. And I would obviously want the person that I'm with to have at least some similar interests. So for a woman to be able to 2-3 times a week, you know, whether it's go to a comedy show, go to a Cirque du Soleil show, go to a WNBA game, go to a UFC fight, go to anything, take a trip, you know, go try different restaurants, do all this stuff. From what I hear, that's what they want. I can provide that for whoever I'm with right now. But what I'm not finna do is go broke trying to worry about going to a Beyonce concert. Now, I'm not saying you can't do that, but I'm just saying, like, I'm not focused on extravagance. I'm focused on creating more stability and more flexibility in my life. And she would benefit from that naturally. But for her to come in and not provide anything, like, why would I do that? I'll go to the comedy show with my boy. I'll go to the sushi spot with my boy. I'll go to the whatever. I'll go do that with my friends because my friends provide value in my life. And for a woman to come and take up that time and fill a spot in my life, she has to provide value. And that's not unreasonable. It's not unfair. It's not entitlement. It's only right. And that's really all I want. And it's so hard to find right now. But because I'm finally getting where I need to be, it is becoming more of a priority for me to find. I have actively been looking for a wife, but I can't say I want a wife and not look for one. And she might not be in this country. So again, it is what it is. But as far as the purpose of this is just for people to understand, right? I don't care who it is. I don't care what color she is. She gotta be attractive to me, right? She gotta be respectful. She gotta be an effective communicator. She has to be loyal. She has to be honest, trustworthy. And none of those things are actually high standards. It's not. It's just basic stuff, but it's so hard to find. So just like everything else in my life, the more I experience, the more I realize it's not about having high standards. It's about having uncompromising standards, and I do have uncompromising standards. My wife is gonna have to be a wife. She's gonna have to make sure I'm taken care of. She's gonna have to make sure that if she has any issues, she can effectively communicate without drama. Because I'm not about to be miserable. I'm not about to take a step back. That don't mean I expect things to be perfect, but I expect it to be worth it. So that's really what it boiled down to. I'm not looking for perfect, but it has to be worth it. And I know that goes both ways. So I am willing to put in the work to make sure that it's worth it for my wife to put herself in that position to want to take care of me and to want to make me happy and to want to do all the things that I want, because I will provide what I need to provide in return for that. So just wanted to record that. So hopefully that provides some clarity to not only any woman that wants to deal with me, but just for people to understand, like, that's where I'm at. That's who I am. And it's not just with romantic relationships. It's just, that's my thought process. I'm willing to invest 100% in anything that I feel like is worth it, but it has to be worth it. And if I'm not willing to do something, that's because I don't feel like it's worth it. But I do not believe that it makes sense for anybody, including myself, to have unrealistic or unreasonable expectations. And I feel like that's the biggest issue right now, where I'm at and with what I'm dealing with. Is not that I'm not able to do what women want, or I'm not able to provide what would be good for a woman or what they're looking for. It's just that I'm not willing to accept what they're willing to offer in return because it's unreasonable, and that'll never happen. So as soon as I find one that's willing to do that, then it's a wrap. And I can't wait to find her, and I'll be extremely thankful, and I will feel blessed, and I'll feel like everything that's gone through, that I've gone through personally, when I have that, is worth it as long as I have it. But I'm not gonna settle for less than that. So anyway, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Until next time, Timeshare Clarence. Peace.